Congratulations on such an incredible show. It's so gripping. I'm on episode 3 and I can't get enough of it. Um,
Oh, good.
it's so good. This is such an intriguing character who has to keep so much of himself guarded. How do you even begin to unpack this role, his history and his life?
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has an interesting backstory that wasn't. I mean, he came from there, from the Faroe Island, and then he left for reasons of his backstory. And you see glimpses of that when he comes back, But um, mainly, you dig into, well, the story, the scenes, and with the director and with the executive producer, who's also the writer, Torfinn Jakobsen, and because sometimes backstory is just backstory. That's for the writer to get a fit of, in touch with these characters. For my part, it's like, what's in the scene? What are we telling? Where do we go next? Stuff like that. So it's it's more sort of a office work. You sit by your table and you figure out the techniques of how to go from one scene to the other, and what do we tell, what don't we tell. I know his backstory was a little more explicit in the scripts, but as it got put together, it was too, because he has a rough backstory. He was into all kinds of things in terms of crime, but it just didn't sit well with all the other things that happened about. So they toned it down to what it is now, and I think that was a good choice, but maybe for the second season, if there will be a second season, I know they're working on it, maybe we can get to explore a bit of his darker side, because there definitely was a darker side. It's it's told a little bit when he has arguments with his brother, and also with Ragnar, Olaf Johannesson, who plays that. So yeah, there's definitely more to dig into, for sure.
Absolutely. My next question was about researching into journalism, but it sounds like you did that in the process of finding this character, doing your own research and learning a bit more about what goes into investigative journalism.
To be quite honest, I didn't too much of that. Not really. Mainly because I was coming from one job right into this, so I didn't have a lot of time to actually go into that. And it's sometimes, it's you just never know when it's useful or not, but I would say I work so much, so it's hard for me to do all years and years or months and months of research of all kinds of things, because I never have time for it. But I didn't think here, just for the journalism part of it, I didn't think it was crazy necessary to play the part, to play that, and that's just me being just trying to find an excuse for not doing it, but I didn't think it was in the way to be honest. I didn't think I needed to, you know what I mean? I mean, is that an answer? So, but,
Yeah, no, that's a great answer.
yeah.
What I really like about initially, to begin with, is how he just tries to keep his relationship to the victim a secret, and how that begins to affect him as he's trying to piece together what happened to her. How does that
Yeah.
affect him? Because he really struggles with his grief as well.
Yeah, well, he left the Faroe Islands when he was younger. Like, this is 30 years ago, when she wasn't even born. He didn't know he had a daughter, and of course, coming back is not his first choice. It was by force, He was, and so I think he wants basically just to get the hell out of Dodge again, But then, as things starts to unravel, and his old friend / enemy, Ragnar, and of course that she dies, and then and also being a journalist, and investigating journalist, investigative, how do you say it?
Investigative, yeah.
Investigative journalist, that of course goes completely hand in hand, and try for some redemption, I guess, as well, and then coming to terms with why he left and stuff, you know. So I know they're exploring that in the second season. I've read the pilot for the second season, and I read it, and so I hope they can find both the time and the money to do that, because there's a bit more of his character that comes alive, so to speak.
Amazing. Yeah, I'd be looking forward to a season 2 with this
Yeah,
character. Yeah, lots more to explore.
yeah,
I really liked the scene in the first episode that really got me, really I was sold me on the show, was the moment where he finds the body.
right.
How was it filming that scene? Because obviously it's just such a powerful moment.
What? Yeah, the water's cold. It's cold up there, and it was. No, but yeah, I mean, it's, of course, you have to, as an actor, produce something, you know, because it's grief, it's bewilderment, it's everything, you know. But and there's the technical aspect of it, of carrying this dead weight in the water, soaked, clothes soaked with water, and as you, of course, as you carry her in the water, you know, the water helps her to be afloat. But as she gets up to the water, then you have to carry her, and then I have to gracefully put her down on the beach, you know. And I realized I should have worked out more, you know. But so we had to do it a few times. I need to find it's also a technical thing, so we need to find another technique of doing it. You know? But that was a difficult bit, is to actually the weight, the pure weight of this woman. It wasn't as much her, it was also the clothes, and I guess like it's you know. And then as you walk in the water, the bottom, the surface, and not the surface, the sandy stuff and the pebbles and the shit, you know, and the minute you start to, you know, because, you know, it's like fixing your hair in a scene. It becomes private, you know. You don't do that unless it's part of the character, that he fixes his hair in a specific way. But this, because that's just me struggling, you know. So you want to find a way to have it be the character still, and, you know, and the drama and all that, you know. It's like dogs in you know, a little kid to do what they do, you know, but it takes you out of the drama, you know. So it became a little technical, and the environment didn't help you, you know. On the contrary, it was sort of working against you. But I think I'm glad that you mentioned this, and it caught you, because then we did it right, obviously, by the end.
Absolutely.
It was, yeah.
That's it, because you also have to keep your face, well, as you're carrying it, you've got to keep a face that the audience knows who she is to him, but like no one else in that scene does.
I know exactly. You know, it's I have a problem with the sun, because I'm fair. My blue, I mean, the sun, I was squint all the time, which is a problem, because it takes your facial acting away. It's just because it becomes a squint. Somebody's squinting, you know, and so this is kind of the same, you know, struggling, just, yeah, guys struggling, you know, and it's rarely it's useful, you know. So you got to, you know, pretend that, or work out more, you know, be stronger, you know, or get a body double or something, you know. So, it's hard sometimes, you know, to work against the elements, you know, because quite often they're not helping you. You just, you know, it's like an acrobat or dancer or something, you know. There's the years and years and years and years. It looks so easy when they do it, but it's the years and years and years of training that makes it look easy, you know. So anyway, but yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a great scene. And what else I like about this show is the investigation that clashes with Carla, the detective, who's sort of
Right.
working on the murder and also like against it as well. So what was it like working with this character and Maria on this relationship?
That's great. I know her from back in the day, you know, from, you know, my whole professional life, and so that was good. And now she has a great character, because obviously you've seen it all, right?
I'm sort of at episode 4 is where I'm at. Yeah.
But she has well, I wouldn't spoil it all, but she's got more. She has problems, you know, family problems with that murder, you know. So she has to play the act as a police woman, you know, as well as you know, pretending not to solve the crime, you know. So it's a great character for her, and I see that. I see there's something going on with her. Yeah. So
Amazing. And it works so well. This is such an incredible show. So congratulations to you both on that.
good.
Unfortunately, that's all I have time for.
All right.
But it's been lovely speaking with you today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and good luck. And hopefully for season 2. I can't wait to finish this
Yeah.
and get into season 2.
I know they're working hard on it. They're working hard on it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Take care.
You take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
Det är syndication.
Nice.
Hey!